Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the select board meeting for October 28th at 6 p.m. Hearing room and on Zoom. We have in attendance myself, Diane Gale, Vice Chair, Doug Moglen, Clerk. Jason Perone, Chair, is not with us tonight. And we have Assistant CAO Nadine Signoni and CAO Nicole Parker here. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If Mr. Putnam would lead.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir.
Play ball.
It's Enrico Palazzo.
So we're going to go a little bit out of order here. We have something on the agenda to present a Sister City proclamation with Mr. Neil Parkin, the Adder and Worthing Council member from Southwick, West Sussex, England. And so we have him come up.
Yeah.
Want to come up?
Your daughter just ran
She
away.
ran away.
We'll save your seat.
Tell Ellie to come back.
So who stitched me up?
So,
Or we could go to him.
yeah,
No. Thank you.
why don't we give a little background for the folks in the room? So, Mr. Putnam, as chair of the Southwick 250, and please step in at any time, introduced us to our sister city of Southwick from England during our Southwick 250 celebration a few years ago during COVID. And Mr. Parkin was kind enough to record. We had a couple of Zoom meetings with you guys, and then they sent a very nice message to us to the 250 from their town common to celebrate our 250th. And I believe Mr. Putnam traveled to England a couple of years ago or last year and had the pleasure of meeting with Mr. Parkin. So what we've done is created a sister city proclamation between the town of Southwick, Mass. And the parish of Southwick, West Sussex, UK. And if I may, whereas the town of Southwick in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, USA, and the parish of Southwick in West Sussex, United Kingdom, share not only a common name, but also a mutual desire to foster international friendship, cultural exchange, and collaborative opportunities. Just nod like you've seen this before. Whereas both communities are committed to enriching the lives of their citizens through shared experiences, cultural understanding, and global goodwill. And whereas this sister city relationship will strengthen ties between our towns and encourage cooperation in education, culture, and commerce for the benefit of all residents. And now, therefore, we hereby proclaim the formal establishment of a sister city relationship between Southwick, Massachusetts, and Southwick, West Sussex, and invite all citizens to celebrate this lasting bond of friendship. Signed this 28th day of October, 2024, by the elected representatives of Southwick, Massachusetts, and Southwick, West Sussex. And I see that Jason was nice enough to come in and sign this ahead of time. So if we could, we have pens. If we could sign those and then send them back, and then we're going to sign two, one for Mr. Parkin to take with him.
Yeah, the other pen with it.
I do. That's right, you get to. And Mr. Parkin, if you would be so kind. Don't look what you're signing, just sign.
I'm just checking it's not a blank check.
And we need your visa code number.
Yeah.
Times are tough here in the colonies.
Right, we're celebrating our 250th, they're celebrating their 1250th.
Something like that.
No, I'm since 1974. The council, that is.
Ah,
Before that it was just Southwick Council.
If I could have your indulgence, because it is very interesting, how far back does the name Southwick for your village go?
At least a week. Yeah, but before the Pilgrim Fathers came over.
Yeah, I think you told me when I was over there, or your town historian told me, it went back to when the Saxons
Yeah, it was that.
came to England.
Yeah.
And that was in about 500 AD.
Yeah.
So they got a little head start on us.
Buddy wasn't even on the fire department yet.
Maybe right in front of our flag.
Yeah, it's
Hold it up.
been a long time.
We'll get a picture. Yeah. Here you are, sir.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you,
Thank
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, right.
It is. Yeah.
Over here.
I'm yeah, well made up. Thank you, thank you.
So now the photo op, as we usually
Oh.
do in these types of things.
Oh, yes. You should tell me how to put the shirts on.
I didn't know they were gonna do all this.
Said, should I dress up? And he said, no, I'm not.
At least giving you the Southwick shirt.
I already put in a plug for that.
Oh, dear. Thank you all very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy your stay.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank you, folks.
thank you.
It was a lot.
Motion adjourned.
All right, then we will continue with public comment. If anyone in the room has any public comments, please raise your hand. Sir?
Evening. My name is Tim Foster. Reside at 38 Miller Road with my wife. So the reason I'm here is it was brought to my attention that there was a member in our neighborhood using a house as an Airbnb, which quite frankly didn't go over very well, to be brutally honest. So my first step was try to gain some knowledge. I reached out to John, who provided information relative to what was doing. But he pushed me to the zoning enforcement agent, Jack. Eventually hooked up with him. I'm gonna be brutally honest, because that's who I am. The conversation was not good. I will say that I think he was a little taken off guard in my questions. But a couple of things that came to light by both John and Zach was that there were no applicants at all in the town of South. And that was confirmed. So after a 5-minute search, we immediately found the post in our neighborhood. And I believe there's 4 others operating out of North Pond. So with that said, I have reviewed the charter. I think it's 36. And bear with me, but I just want to bring to light some of the things that are going down that are concerning. First and foremost, no one can do this without registration. There is no registration. Second of all, the applicant needs to apply to the zoning enforcement agent on an application that's approved by him, which tells me that there is no town formal application for an Airbnb. I may be wrong, but I can't find one. Part of that application is notification to all the abutters. Part of that application is having the house inspected, fire, safety, health, building, the whole 9 yards. I am gonna stick my neck out and say that hasn't been done. Registration with the state. Believe should be part of that application. I don't know. I think I understand why this was done. This whole concept seems to be very popular for vacationers. But frankly, it's not my cup of tea. I don't know why anybody would, but that's just me. I just feel that one needs to look at where exactly this is occurring relative to zoning. Neighborhood is dense. We've got homes less than 50 feet apart. I just think if this is how it's gonna be, then it needs to be tightened up. But the bottom line is you can't enforce it. This is beautifully written. Says a lot of stuff. But your enforcement agent is the neighborhood. And with all due respect, I don't think they really knew that these people were doing what they were doing. So it's opened up a can of worms for those that have to reside by it. I will get it, that if this is the way it's gonna be, this is the way it's gonna be. But until then, I've asked twice to put a halt to this. Until all the ducks are in a row and it's being done in the right format. And I'm gonna ask again. I haven't got a response to that request. Which is disconcerting, to be honest with you. And I can tell you right now, it's being done tonight. So. That's my public comment relative to the Airbnb charter in the town. Take it as you want. I appreciate your time.
We will look into it. Okay. Yep. Yes,
So this whole road is Miller and Gillette Avenue. And we're all very not happy. And the reason we're putting our little faces here is so that you know we're very not happy. That's it.
okay. Yes, sir.
Gavin Thomas, 45 Miller Road. One of the things that's a little discerning with all this too is if one neighbor doesn't talk to anybody, hasn't really been upfront with anybody for this, and this is one of the reasons.
The renter,
Yes.
No, the
Oh,
owner.
the owner.
yeah, that's what I mean, the person renting.
We have an extreme amount of little kids in the neighborhood. Like real little to teenagers. We have some weird people that have been staying at this house. We also have the walking trail, which is directly across the street on Gillette. We get all the weird people from them parking down in the street that like to ride and go through the neighborhood. To add to this whole thing isn't good. Stuff that you don't know what you have in your yard, to the people that you don't know who's staying there. There's people that are in the cars until 3 o'clock in the morning, sitting in the driveway. So there's supposed to be a whole plan and stuff like this, which like Tim said, there's nothing enforceable. There's nothing you can find. And I believe Doug was on the bylaw committee for this way back. And it's now gone like, oh, it's in the file cabinet, here we go. Nobody's gonna, say anything. Well, I can tell you right now, we're here to say something and we're not gonna go away. If we're gonna we come back each week, we come back each week, but I've talked to Doug because I knew he was on the committee trying to figure some of this stuff out. Something's gotta happen.
Understood, thank you. Name?
James Love, 15 Gillette Avenue. Caddy corner, right directly across the street. I have a very good observation of the place. My background is military intelligence. I'm inherently paranoid. I moved into this neighborhood for one specific reason. I would be able to find out who the people are that are living around me. Now I cannot. There are people that are coming in and out of that residence on such an inconsistent and abnormal state that's very, very concerning. Gavin said, there are people that have come into the neighborhood, onto that driveway, and stayed there for over an hour and a half, sitting in the car. There's no way of identifying who they are, what they're doing. By the nature of that building, or now, what it's intended to be used as, that draws additional strangers into the neighborhood. As well, the Airbnb has absolutely no vetting process for any of the people that are using any of those residents. They've had multiple problems across the country because people would either overstay in the residence, causing police enforcement problems, Many of the buildings have been burnt throughout this country. As well, because they have no vetting process, there have been incidences where pedophiles have been reported using the residence because they don't have to register a temporary building, a temporary residence. So it's also mentioned, there are a tremendous number of minors in our neighborhood. It's extremely concerning to me that someone can come into that neighborhood, not registered, not vetted, with less than pleasant intent. Not just our neighborhood, but any neighborhood.
Understood. Anybody else in the room? We will look into this right away and get some feedback to you all. Is there anybody online with the comments? Looks like none. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Just one quick question. Who is the point of contact? Is it Zach? Is he the one that we go to, or? I mean, I get the impression that, you know, obviously he's got other things on his table. He has other roles in the town and whatever,
Are we talking
But-
about Kyle?
That's what I was gonna ask. Sir, I
Talking
think,
about
are you
Kyle?
talking about Kyle Scott, the zoning
Sorry,
enforcement?
my apologies.
That was gonna be my question, was who's Zach? 'Cause But yeah, I got you.
He's got a lot to do, because we don't know what he's.
I apologize.
Yeah, we usually don't have back and forth on public comment, but I will commit to you that I will reach out to Kyle and have a conversation.
I apologize for screwing up.
Nope. Not at all, just making sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah, that's fine. And if there's a gap in the process, we'll get that filled.
Because there is no back and forth in this conversation, how will you let us know?
Oh, we don't normally do back and forth tonight, but we will, if you want it, did you sign in? And leave
No,
an
there's
email?
No, there was no plan.
There is no sign.
Okay, I can get a hold of you and you can,
I also want to give you my card with my cell phone number, and I will be more than happy to file with you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Is there an email address on there?
Yeah.
I prefer things to be.
any one of us, our first initial, last name at southwickmass.gov, you can reach out to any.
Last question for you. When will the minutes for this be available? Because I intend to report them for not having a business license.
For this meeting,
Yes, ma'am.
we will, well, the recording will be out tomorrow
Okay.
on YouTube.
Will there
You can
be-
get a link to that right on the website.
Okay, will there be a written notice of minutes? Okay,
Those won't be out tomorrow.
understand.
They usually approve the meeting, one or two meetings after this meeting. We'll approve them.
And then the written will be published at that point.
Yes, it'll be on the website.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much.
Well, we'll do what we can. Okay, then on to new business. We need to accept $180 deposit to the library gift account from Friends of the Southwick Library. A refund from the purchase of prizes for the library's winter reading program for children, teens, and adults. Can I have a motion to that?
So not used to making a motion over here. So moved.
You want to give me this, do you want a piece of paper? 1 second. I don't have any blank paper.
I do. No, I'm in.
Okay, you made a motion, I'll second that. Roll call vote,
Sorry.
Diane Gale, aye.
Doug Mogul, yes.
And accept a donation of $50 to the Southwick Police Gifts account from Mrs. Jacqueline Lavoy. Make a motion to,
So moved.
seconded, roll call vote, Diane Gale,
How do you vote?
Aye.
Doug Mogul, yes.
Sorry. Okay, thank you. We need to appoint Robin Goodsell, Robert Liptick, and Ruth Stathis as election officers for the November 5th, 2024 state election.
So moved.
Roll call vote, second, roll call vote, Diane Gale, aye.
Doug Mogul, yes.
And we need to acknowledge the resignation of Angelina Simone from the Agricultural Commission. And that's just to acknowledge that, right? And
We should encourage anyone that wants to apply to be on ag to,
they
Submit an
are
application.
actively recruiting. And we also have a vacancy on the Historical Society I can throw in,
Historical Commission.
Commission, rather.
Yep.
Yep. All right. And then we have a mediation session on Thursday, 10/31 at 9 a.m.
Not in costume.
Correct. Oh, it could be.
Well,
Could be. We could all dress up. right? And what is the protocol for attendance of
Well, I did,
more than one of us?
I did post the meeting if all of you wanted to come, but if there was just, if you wanted to name a representative, that's sort of what the attorney was saying. To go with me, and then we report back. I don't believe that we're just gonna have one mediation session, so I think that. You can either designate someone, you can all come, none of you, it's all up
but
to
you posted, right?
It's posted.
And Jason isn't here to weigh in on that, so it's up to you and I.
You're going?
Do you think one or two? Does it matter? Are you available?
I'm available by Zoom. I cannot travel to the event that day, but
I can. Do you want me to go in person?
if you're able,
I am able, so. I guess we can vote to have, if you want to make that motion.
so move.
Okay. Second, roll call vote, Diane Gale, aye.
Doug Mogul, yes.
And then any other new business? From you.
Just one, and it's more perfunctory, I think. I had sent a request to the chair to create a proclamation for a bunch of young men who had made Eagle. And I think I had seen the proclamations. I would
Oh,
like to
nice.
suggest that we bring them in front of this board, either at our next meeting, obviously tonight's a tight schedule and they're not here. But next meeting to present said proclamations.
Nadine was coordinating with them to see when they could make it.
Oh, great. So you're already talking to Ms.
Margaret was.
Oh, Margaret, sorry.
Okay,
Yeah.
either way,
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Please let me know what you need from me, because I had been corresponding with the lady, the mother of one of the young men.
I want to say it is next week, but
Perfect,
it's not
that's
me,
great.
so
We'll see what we
I'll
can do. Sandra.
I'll find out.
All right. Okay, I have no other new business.
Yeah, I just have a change order for the HVAC system. It is for new space temperature sensor tying into the existing control and control valve, which is existing, and it's for $2,850. So I don't know if you could just vote to authorize Jason to sign it. It's just for one. Or authorize you to sign it as vice chair.
It doesn't have a due date, right? He can come in and sign. He's got other things. to
Yes, he
sign.
can come in.
So.
What's the dollar amount, please?
$2,850.
It's within the line item.
Yeah, and it shows, the price for the journeyman, and it's really all labor.
I'll make a motion to have the chair sign.
Second. Roll call vote, Diane Gale, aye.
Doug Mogul, yes.
Nadine, any new business?
No.
Okay. Under old business, we need to approve the statement of intention on behalf of Carl J. Steinhardt. Which we have I have seen.
Need signatures?
And that is on the counter as well, correct?
No.
Not, okay. You want us to sign that here?
I do.
Probably need a vote of the board. So I'll make a motion for us to submit this statement of intention of the Southwick Select Board on behalf of Carl J. Steinhardt.
Second, roll call vote, Diane Gale, aye.
Doug Mogul, yes.
And they want us to sign that. Okay. We have next the Visual dog hearing update.
Ms. Pijals, we'll make sure you would be here tonight.
She's not here. Do you have anything you would like to update us with?
Do
Other-
you want me to read the letters that I sent you?
You might as well.
Okay. Let me come up.
Sure.
Okay. Um. For the first one. On October 1st, I wrote to the Select Board. This is to follow up on the August 26th, 2024 meeting wherein Lori Bijal of 24 Birchwood Road in Southwick was given instructions as to securing her dogs in a fenced-in area in her yard. At that time, Ms. Bijal was advised to have both gates fitted with automatic locking closures on or before September 25th, among other stipulations outlined. As I was out sick, I was not able to check on the gates until today, 10/1. I contacted Ms. Vijal, who stated that she had not had the gates modified as of yet. At this time, I'm finding Ms. Vijal in violation of an order issued to her by the Southwick Select Board. I'm requesting that the agreement become invalid and that Ms. Vijal be brought up on this violation, which would also include her responsibility to pay all fines issued to her by my office. And then on 10/15, on this date, I responded to the Fijo residents at 24 Birchwood Road to deliver the notification of a hearing for Monday, 10/21/24. Upon my arrival, I rang the doorbell twice and heard a dog barking from outside the residence. The barking became louder on the right side of the home, and then I heard a woman's voice that sounded like Fijal yelling, "Hey, get over here." From the sound of both the woman and the dog, it did not appear that the dog was restrained as outlined in the order given to Fijal. I then called the Fijal residents, however, I received no response. I left a voicemail for Ms. Fijal stating that I was at her door and that I had left her a letter for her in the front door. I requested that she come to the front door. However, by the time I left, she still had not responded to the door. In checking both gates in the yard, it was seen that the self-closing locking mechanisms had still not been installed on either gate. It is apparent that Ms. Fijal has not followed the conditions given to her. He repeatedly refuses to answer the door. She'll refuse to answer the phone. I'll be standing there at the door, ringing the doorbell. It's only when I leave and call her that she answers the phone. She says, "Yes, I know you were there." Okay. I know we need to answer. I have been dealing with her refusal to cooperate with town bylaws since March. She has been given ample opportunity to address each individual fine that she's been given since March. She has not done any of it. I do believe she is basically ignoring and disregarding any recommendations that were given to her. She does not seem to have, I don't want to say the respect, but she just does not seem to be taking any of this seriously. And unfortunately,
She doesn't seem to respect the gravity of this.
she does not respect the gravity of the situation. She does not respect the authority of the town. She does not respect anything other than what she wants to respect. She's got her 2 sports cars in the driveway. She's got, you know, all of her stuff going on. I'm done with it. I don't know at this point. You can't drag her in and she's not going to come in. I do not see that she's going to come in.
She did not come in
Right. She didn't notify anyone. She didn't come in.
second time.
Did she notify you today?
No, she didn't notify me today,
Okay.
but I did talk to her after the last
Last meeting.
meeting.
Okay.
And she said that she was working on the 21st, but she would be here today on the 20th.
Okay.
Oh, she's not here.
So what are your options?
My request is that all of the fines be reinstated. I know that, Jason,
None of them were relieved. They were stayed for the moment.
right. I do believe they need to be pursued. Whether we go with a criminal complaint, maybe that'll get her attention. I don't know. I know that she just really, the rules don't apply. And that is very unfortunate for all the people in her neighborhood who cannot walk by the house.
We have not had an incident of
We've not had an
neighbors
incident. Nope.
calling with any issues.
Nope, not
since.
yet. Not yet, but I don't think we really want to wait until this happens again, unfortunately. And I think at this point, instituting the fines or taking them off the pause button, so to speak. I don't know, maybe that'll get an answer. I don't know. I don't know. What can you do with somebody that just goes, oh, well. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys.
I think we need to put the demand for the fines out.
Okay.
My opinion.
I don't disagree. I mean, we were,
Bending
Yeah.
over backwards.
that's not the term you used when you saw me the next day,
No,
but
it
yeah, I
wasn't.
get it.
No, it wasn't. Here's
You
the
know,
rope.
I think we were more than fair, I mean,
Yes.
and reasonable in this whole thing, and I was actually talking to Mr. Parkin before the meeting tonight, because, you know, these dog hearings are,
Yes.
the worstest part
So
of
you
being
were
on them.
referring to me.
No, I said, one of the things I really dislike the most about this
Yes.
job, it's probably the most unpleasant task of being on the select board.
Trust
Is
me,
dog
it's no
hearings,
fun for
because
me
100% of the time, it ain't the dog. It could be the meanest,
Yeah.
wildest animal, but that's the owner's responsibility to.
Yep.
If you have a mean ornery dog, you lock it up and
And to
keep it
give
away
you an
from people.
example, we had a case of a dog bite that just recently happened. The owners of the dog that bit, granted, the other dog came from a neighbor's property onto their house. These guys were in an electric fence, but their dogs bit the other people's dogs. They're ready to put up an fencing and this and that and the other thing because they're really afraid of this. I'm like, it wasn't your fault, but
100% of
Here
the
we go
time, it's the
again.
owner, 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And so, you know, obviously, we had asked to have the young lady come in last meeting. We
Mhm.
were understanding that she was busy and couldn't make it, so she was gonna be here tonight.
Yep.
It's 6:30. This was just, you know, we were gonna cover this evening. She's not here. I don't disagree with you, Diane. I think we put the fines back. And if it goes to the next level,
What is the time frame that the fines have to be paid?
week.
Otherwise, you can pick up the dog. Actually, it says you can pick up the dogs in the meantime. So we'll give her a week to pay, and then if she doesn't pay. You go.
If
get
I'm
the
back here
dogs,
next
right?
Monday.
You go get the dogs, right?
I would
So-
say at this point, we go with the criminal prosecution for
Yeah,
not
I
paying.
would do it that way.
Yeah,
We
because
don't
at
want
that
the
point,
dogs, because then
I
we
know,
have to
I
deal with
know.
it.
So,
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree with
I
you.
would say give it a week, tell her that, you know,
Yeah.
you can send her a certified letter because she obviously will not answer the door for me. Say she's got 7 days from the date of the letter to pay her fines, or it will go through the court system. And I'll just lump them all into one, and I'll have Sergeant Arduini take care of that part.
Okay.
Okay,
All right,
Very well.
okay,
thank you.
thank you, I appreciate your time.
Thank you, ACO Bennett.
Okay. And do we have Randy on board? Yes. Springfield MRF contract renewal. Randy, do you have anything to update on that this week?
So I had a meeting with the MERP Advisory Board on Tuesday. One of the questions that the board had was there's a rate increase. Year one is 2%, and then year one is 2%. Year 2, 3, and 5, 4, and 5 have a 1% adder on top of the 2%. The formula is a little wonky, but essentially, so I asked the question, what's the for, and the response I got back was it just came out during the negotiations. The operator of the MRF said that the 2% wasn't enough to cover their costs each year, so he asked for a higher amount. And during the negotiations, there was quite a bit of back and forth. I think someone's mentioned there was 18 or 19 proposals that went back and forth between the two parties. And so what the proposal that you have in front of you is kind of how they resolve that issue. So I hope that answers the question that you had.
But the 1% is on the prior year's activity. So
Yes.
they get to do a catch up,
Yeah,
basically. Okay, and then a side question on that. Are these MRF fees going back to the transfer station discussion we had last week? Is that part of the 270,000 refuse fees that you had on your models?
Yeah, that includes the trash, recyclables,
All of it.
anything that we pay to dispose of was built into that $270,000 number.
Okay,
that
so
we
this was,
paid that's just here, correct? Yeah.
okay, all right, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions on that? Okay, thanks, Randy. So we held off on signing that, so I guess with that explanation, we have no choice but to sign it.
Even without the explanation, we
Even
didn't have
without, we
much
have
choice
no
to
choice
sign
to
it.
sign it, but at least we asked the question.
So moved.
Okay. All right. I think we voted that pending this answer, but we'll roll call vote.
Probably should
Diane
second the
Gale,
motion.
aye. Huh? Second the
Second.
motion, yeah,
Now you-
and then roll call vote, Diane Gale, aye.
Doug Mogul, yes.
Okay. Any other old business from you, Mr. Mogul?
Just a couple, covered most of them already. I do want to recognize the fact that October 28th is National First Responders Day. So thank you to our police department, fire department, our regional dispatch partners, and last but certainly not least, DPW in recognition of National First Responders Day 2024. I also want to thank everyone who was involved with putting on the trunk or treat this weekend at Wally Park. There had to be 600 kids there. It was just very well run, very well done, and the weather was perfect and a good time was had by all. And thank you for your indulgence tonight with the proclamation for our friends from across the pond.
It was historic.
Yeah, I think it was great. That was really great. So that's it for me. Thank you.
I just have in your, this is your copy.
Yep.
This is the combined efforts of Jessica Thornton and myself on the master plan charges. So you can review that and then we can hopefully put that into action next week. And I'll leave a copy for Jason as well. You have a copy.
Yep.
And that's it. Well, actually, I did have a question. Was there any updates on any actions regarding to North Pond? Is anything actually?
So,
in motion yet?
no, and I spoke with Randy. And, you know, said, can we move the gate? Reconfigure the parking, but. You know, he doesn't really have the manpower either, so we have to get together and figure out how we're gonna pay for it and who's gonna do it all. And so,
Could we ask conservation if they had volunteers? Because I think the volunteers put it in the first place.
okay,
Maybe they can.
Yeah.
Volunteer again to move it around.
I can
Okay.
certainly ask,
Okay,
yes,
and anything else on that? Anything else moving on it?
no, nothing else is moving thus far.
Okay.
You mean, you wanna schedule public hearings for signage, no parking, all that kind of thing, you want me to get going on that?
I would,
Yeah.
especially the no parking. I mean, Randy's got that process, whatever we have to follow for that. Yeah.
Yeah, he sent it to me,
Yeah, we should start that process because it's going to take a while to get it all done.
okay. Will do.
And Nadine, anything to update?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then we can move on to acknowledge the open session minutes from October 21st, 2024.
We don't have any minutes.
Open session we got today.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Did you see those stuff?
I did, I sent them back.
I did
Let's-
too,
Yeah, let's,
Oh, okay.
with corrections.
yeah, let's say we get them back.
Okay, fine.
Take care of them next week.
And we have no executive Okay, and then we can acknowledge payroll warrant 2509 dated October 22nd, 2024 in the amount of 288,832.84. And then can I read your thing? Are we going into executive session?
Oh, we're not.
Oh, good. Okay, then
I think we should, just to make her read all that.
I got the abbreviated version.
Any other business for the board tonight?
None that I'm aware of.
Madam Moderator, you good? I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second, roll call vote, Van Gale, aye.
Doug Mogul, yes.